Doing this is Ruben with philosophy. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like my videos, please subscribe to the channel, like or comment. Will be greatly appreciated. Um, Today I want to talk about one subject that I get a lot of questions about. I get a lot of emails about, and this is work ethic. I get emails saying, "Hey, I like your videos. I like the whole aspect. I like the empowerment, this and that. But I'm just lacking work ethic. I'm lacking, me, you know, producing. I know I can produce more. Well, work ethic it's very important to any sort of dream or goal that you may have, no matter what it is. From you wanting to, you know, work on your body, work on your mind, work on a certain project, whatever it is. I mean, you cannot fail. You cannot fail at something if you have strong work ethic. If you're constantly working at it and you're producing, you're manufacturing, you cannot fail. You'll become a great one sooner or later. Now, there's a difference between, you know, winning at something or being successful at something to being this, you know, unique, one of a kind person. I've talked about this before. Anybody can get better at anything. Not everybody is going to be the Michael Jordans, the Tiger Woods, the Bill Gates, the all these people who are like unique one in a lifetime type of individuals, because not everybody's gifted at the same thing, but you can always become better. Of course, there's something in you that you're blessed with that you can become that great, that unique person, that person who will be remembered forever, right? And some people find it. Some people find that gift and decide to work on it. Many people, just decide to work on something else. That's their interest. So not everybody's gonna go with their gift, and I mean that's totally fine. But just don't expect to be great. For example, I can go ahead and play football. I can go ahead and start boxing. I can go ahead and start playing basketball. I may be gifted at football, but I may not be as gifted in basketball or in golf. But I can get better from where I'm at, and if I dedicate my life to it, then I can go ahead and become one of the great ones, right? But I may not become, the Michael Jordan of basketball. I'm just, I'm just not gifted, and it all comes. Many people talk about it. Many successful people talk about it. A lot of books talk about it, and that's DNA, your genetics. Some people have a certain amount that they can go towards, and there will be a stoppage on that DNA. Like there's so much you can go, and then it's like your DNA cannot go further, and there's a way to unlock that blockade, which I'm not going to get into this video. One day I will share with you guys, but yes, there's so much that you can go towards to you find a blockade and you just cannot go any further, and this is where most people give up, right? Now, those that don't give up and work at it, which is very rare, because if you're not gifted at it, that stoppage would really withhold you, and you can only do so much, and it's very, very hard to become great. There's a way you can get past it, and with enough work you will get past it. But there's a certain thing that has to happen. Of course, I'm not gonna get into that today. I will share with you guys one day that specific thing. But very rare do people really find that way to block that stoppage. And you know, that's the way it is. Of course, there's something in you that you're gifted at that you don't have to, you will not find that blockade. You will continue to go forward, go forward. But the thing that's necessary is work ethic. We read the books, we watch the videos, we get inspired, we get motivated. But here's the thing, what does it take? Thinking positive can only do so much. Reading so many books can only do so much. Being around those who have what you want can only do so much. The thing that changes everything would be your work ethic. And your work ethic is basically what makes, is basically the gasoline. You can have a brand new Mercedes, a real nice car, Lamborghini, whatever, a Rolls Royce. But if you don't have no gas, you cannot drive it. Work ethic is that gas. Work ethic is that fuel to get your dream to go. And a lot of people, unfortunately, don't have a good work ethic. And work ethic does not necessarily mean that you gotta have, you gotta work on your certain dream and develop that work ethic necessary on that dream. And that work ethic is very important because that will determine, how far you go. Like I was mentioning, it doesn't necessarily have to be a requirement for you to develop the work ethic while you're working on your dream. Many people decide that to do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But here's the thing, this is why a lot of people fail. Because you have to understand that if you want to develop work ethic, well, first off, if you want to reach your dreams, you have to work on that one dream, your chief aim. You finish that goal, go to another one. So you always, you may have a variety of dreams you want to accomplish in your life, but you're always on your focus to one at a time. It's like the magnifying glass, with the sun. It needs focus for it to burn. If I have 20 different things I'm trying to burn and I focus on one thing for 3 seconds, then the next one 3 seconds, then the next one 3 seconds, then 3 seconds, I will be doing that for the rest of my life and I will never get to burn anything. So focus is needed. That's where the chief aim comes in. This is what Napoleon Hill talked about when he said you have to have a chief aim, and most of the people, all those successful people always have a chief aim, and many successful people may decide to go ahead and learn a new language. They may decide to get into cars. I don't know. They may decide to go ahead and get into business, a different business. See, there's a lot. People change from business to business. They don't have interest in this business no more, so they go to another one. Another person decides to work on their body. The dreams. There's dreams that you want to accomplish in your life, but you'll always be focusing on one thing. So work ethic is required for you to fulfill that one thing you want, your chief aim. Like I mentioned, that's your fuel. That's the fuel. That's the gasoline to get your dream moving. And many people understand the importance of work ethic, but they think that work ethic is only needs to be applied on your dream, when you're focusing on your dream, when you're working on your dream. And yes, it does require, work ethic is required for you to apply it on the road to your dream while you're focusing on your dream, working on your dream. But it's not just at that point that you're working on your work ethic. The way it works is that you have to make work ethic, having a good, strong work ethic in your life all the time. You have to make it part of you, of who you are, of your life. So you may have good work ethic, but if you're not focusing on having a good work ethic when it comes to other parts of your life, then you're going to fail. And the thing is that it's just like working out. It's like if you go to a basketball game for 30 minutes before the game actually starts, you're seeing people throw balls and stretching and maybe do a little jogging at a basketball game because they're trying to warm up so they don't pull a muscle once, and everything. And then during the game, you may see them put on a jacket or a coat or cover themselves so they can stay warm and don't get cold, because once they get cold, they have there's the danger of pulling a muscle or getting something going on in their body that shouldn't. The same thing is with work ethic. Work ethic has to be part of your life. You always have to be warmed up, always. So if you have work ethic when you're focusing on your dream only, when you're not focusing on your dream, which will vary, you will cool off, and then you won't have the same punch, the same type of energy when you're focusing on your dream, and then you end up giving up. And that's where people come in and say, always when I try to work on my dream, something holds me back, right? This and that. It's like a diet. It's like working out. You're going to the gym to work out, on a regular basis. And then it's when you miss that one day that everything just falls. And you're like, man, I was going to the gym good and everything, but until, it was that one day I missed, and then just, it's like nothing was important no more towards that dream. So that work ethic has to be part of your life. It has to be part of who you are, and it's something that you have to do every day. Just like brushing your teeth, just like taking a shower, just like eating, just like breathing. It's something that has to be part of your life if you want to be successful. Because if you're only focusing on work ethic when it comes to you working on your dream, you're going to fail. And it's that cooling off period that I'm talking about. You're going to pull a muscle and then you're going to get out of the game. Or even if you stay in the game, you're not going to have the same momentum as you did. So this is a way that you can go ahead and start developing a good work ethic. When I say developing a good work ethic, I'm talking about your entire life. This has to be who you are. So having a good work ethic, it varies from things to things, but you can start by getting up early. It doesn't always happen, but ideally you want to go to sleep, at 10 p.m. and wake up around 6 a.m. It's been scientifically proven, and there's many, research, much research on this, that during that time, the chemicals in your brain rejuvenate, and everything replenishes itself. If you're asleep during that time, specifically if you're asleep, especially at the midnight hit, If you've been sleeping for an hour or two and then midnight hits, your body is just designed to replenish itself the way it should, replenish those brain chemicals so you can focus and so forth. So it's much research on there. I mean, go to Google and you don't have to go to libraries no more. You can just Google and type it and make your research. If you don't believe me, go make your research. Put in the work. So going to sleep ideally from 10 p.m. and waking up at 6 a.m. is ideally what you want to do. Okay, sure, there's gonna be times where you're not gonna be sleeping. That you may be working on your dream. You may have certain things you have to do, and you may be sleep deprived for that day. But even if you go to sleep at 2 in the morning, still have still have the goal of waking up at 6 a.m. That is your goal. So, and if for whatever reason, try to go to bed at 10 p.m. Like I mentioned, it's not something that's gonna happen always, but not only is it gonna help your health, not only is it gonna give you a good night rest, and of course, the darker the room, and if you can get it a little bit cool, that'll increase the quality of sleep you're getting. So, especially during those times, it can't happen always, but it's something you can try. Having breakfast, getting accustomed to eating breakfast, even if it's not the the bigger your breakfast can be, having a good sized breakfast is very important. But it may not always happen. You may be on the go, especially if you're, you know, working on your dreams and you just don't have time. Whenever possible, try to make it a good breakfast. They say that breakfast is the most important part of important meal of the day, and it's very true. But you can't happen always. But always get in the habit of you eating a breakfast, even if it's some oatmeal, even if it's an egg or two, even if it's some sort of protein morning shake. I don't care. Get in the habit of getting some nutrients in you, upon waking up. Ideally, 20-30 minutes after waking up, you should be eating something. Now, this is another big one for you guys. Make sure you brush your teeth and brush it good in the mornings, because if you're going out for your dreams, you're meeting certain people, you have to have a good hygiene. So taking a shower and brushing your teeth is very important. There's a lot of people in business who just don't do that, and that really lowers your chance. I mean, come on, you're going out to be the best. You have to be at your best. If you brush your teeth, I mean, bad breath can really kill any connection you may be having with anybody. If you're going to your job, you want to perform the best. You want to look your best. Anything comes up, you're ready. So definitely make sure you brush your teeth and take a shower. I know most of you do, but just make sure, for those that don't, how important it is. Get in the habit of dressing good also. I mean, I don't care who you are. I don't care, you know, what kind of person you're in. What kind of person you are, what you're into. Anybody who looks good as far as dressing wise will feel good. There's not a person in the world who, if they put on some good clothes and everything's good, clean shoes, nice shirt, everything, you're feeling good. You're feeling good. So that definitely helps as well, as far as your day going good and so forth. So make sure if you have to, make sure you pick out your clothes the night before, have it ready, make sure everything looks sharp and you're ready to go. Haircuts as well. Get in the habit of getting a regular haircut every now and then. And being trimmed, being shaven, or whatever your style is. If you grow a beard, make sure it's nice cut. The more is the little things that matter. It's the little things that matter. The more of these little things that you can get in the habit of doing, the better you'll feel and the better you'll perform. And I can stress how important this is. And doing all these little things will develop a good work ethic. So, doing that, definitely having, great discipline. At least if, even if it's, if it's the weekend, make sure you're focusing on your dream every single day. Every single day you're working on your dream. Maybe there's really nothing you can do towards your dream on this Saturday, on this Tuesday, on this Thursday. Do something. Even if you can work on your dream, even if there's nothing to do for an hour, if you can work on your dream for an hour, that would tremendously help. It'll get your focus. As I mentioned, that cooling down period can be a killer. So always make sure you're on point. Take one day out of the week and just relax. Just relax, and doing, if you're into spirituality, find your spirituality for that day. Get some books on rest, on calming yourself. Do some deep meditations that day. You know, for example, I'm a Christian, so I go to church on Sundays, or I may listen to a sermon, or I may listen to several sermons. Just relax, feel good about myself, feel good about the future, you know, all around. Get my spirituality at a good base. One day out of the week, and just don't focus on work, just relax. As I mentioned, do some sort of spirituality, some sort of something that's higher than you and allows you to realize that you're not in control of everything, and there's some things you cannot control, and leaving it at a higher power. So taking one day out of the week and focus on some sort of spirituality, be greatly. And no work for that day, no work. If you have a partner, I would definitely advise you to talk to them and advise them, hey, look, on this day, whether it's a Sunday, a Monday, whatever it is, hey, on this day, let's not bring up strong subjects around each other. Okay? If it's something important and necessary that needs to be talked to, if it can hold, wait for it for the next day. This for this day, not bring up strong subjects. Okay? So you can have that day, and you and your partner know that, hey, look, this day we're not bringing up strong subjects and so forth. We're just relaxing. You don't know how much that can rejuvenate you. And research has been made that those who work 6 days out of the week instead of seven are much more productive, much more happy. If you take that one day and focus on some sort of spirituality and so forth, it's not focus on spirituality every day, but specifically on a Sunday, I'm really focusing on spirituality. I may listen to several sermons, watch several sermons, you know, get my spirituality up, refreshed, you know. So that's important. So one day out of the week, not bringing up strong subjects, just resting, listening to some sort of spirituality, whatever you're into. Greatly, greatly recommended. Doing some sort of meditation every day. Even, I mean, if it's 10, 20 minutes, but doing some sort of meditation every single day, whether it's in the morning, whether it's on your break, on your lunch break, whether I don't care what time it is, make sure to do at least 20 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes of meditation. I mean, there's great apps now, like Lumosity is a great one. They have a section of mindfulness. They have brain training games, but they have a section where it's mindfulness, where it allows you to go ahead and focus and meditate. There's other great apps. I mean, Gaia has some great videos as far as meditation, and they're short. They have longer ones too, but they have like 10, 20-minute ones. 10, 20 minutes meditation. You will notice in a week the difference. It's so remarkable. And it allows you to focus more, bring up more ideas. It calms the brain, it calms your thought process. It allows you, and this will help with things like depression, anxiety, things like that. In a week, you will notice it. And if you do it every single day, it will cause you to break through. That's it's not fully the way to get rid of that block that I was talking about when it comes to your DNA, but it's very close. It's sort of around that subject. So make sure you meditate every single day, at least 10 to 20 minutes. If you can do longer, great, but that's the minimum, 10, 20 minutes meditation. Make sure you drink water. Make sure you drink a lot of water. Ideally, I think it's like eight cups of water or something like that. Something like that. But I usually drink like ounce, an ounce of water 8 times a day. So I drink water, and if it's possible, if you get a gallon of water and just like carry it with you, take it to work or wherever you are, and drink from that gallon. Put like a little pinch of pink sea salt, just a little pinch. I mean, not enough to make your water salty, but just put like a little pinch of sea salt in there, pink sea salt. That will create energy in your body, so it's very health wise. You stay hydrated, you get to think clearer. All these things help. Try to eat healthy. Can't happen always, but try to eat healthy. Try to get some sort of good nutrients in you. Maybe an organic meal, a vegan meal, something not too heavy. Saving those heavy meals for certain events, maybe on the weekends, so forth. But if it's during the week, try to keep it at a light minimum. Eating things that are not that heavy. I'm not a vegan, but I may eat a vegan meal several times a week, or maybe some sort of salad, something light. That basically, I mean, there's a lot of things you're eating healthy, so that helps. But the main thing is focusing on your brain. When you eat, blood from your brain goes to your stomach to go ahead and process that food or metabolize that food. The heavier the meal, more blood is required to go from your brain to your stomach to metabolize that food. If it's something like a vegan meal, maybe like a salad, maybe like something like a grilled chicken, maybe a little some grilled fish, not something heavy, the less blood is required to go from your brain to your stomach to metabolize that food. So your focus all throughout the day, even when you eat, your focus. A great thing that you can add to your meals would be greatly. It's not a necessary thing, but one thing that can help is by getting the supplement called PGX. Basically what it is a certain herb root. Um, it used to be used, it was discovered by the monks. And the reason is that the monks used to meditate a lot. So, for their meditation to not get disturbed throughout the day, they'll go ahead and I think it's valerian. No, it's not valerian. I forgot the name of it, but that certain root. But it's basically this root. This root slows down the metabolizing of the food, so you're not getting this huge sugar spikes, or you're not getting this huge, metabolizing sparks. It holds your food, and it sort of releases the food to be metabolized at a slow pace. So the blood from the brain doesn't go on at once to your stomach. It slowly goes. It allows you to go ahead and maintain that even level when it comes to your focus, when it comes to the way you feel, your sugar levels. That's definitely try. It's PGX. That's I forgot the name, the root of that certain herb, but it's look it up. It's PGX. PGX. P as in Paul, G as in golf, X as in X-ray. So PGX supplement. They sell them at like vitamin shop. You can find it at your health food store online. Look it up. Recommend it. That way, you have energy throughout the day. You don't burn out, and also your brain, your focus is there. Another thing, and I just had it in my mind. I forgot. Another thing you can do. Oh, definitely some vitamin D. Some vitamin D. Take some vitamin D. Take some fish oil or omega 3s, not fish oil, but omega 3s. There's a great product called Vecto Omega, and that product allows you to absorb the omega 3 at a very high rate. Most omega 3s aren't as absorbable, so you're not getting the full omega 3 that's in that supplement. So Vectomega crosses the blood-brain barrier and allows you to absorb that. When it comes to regular omega-3 supplements, most of them require you to have developed some sort of enzymes. It requires you to go ahead and have done some sort of exercise that day. A lot of things vary for the absorption of that omega-3. If you're starting out, especially into these habits, getting something that is easily absorbed when it comes to supplements would be greatly recommended. Vecto Omega, but really any omega 3 supplement would help. Just the absorption rate may be less, but anything would help. But definitely look up Vecto Omega. It's not required, but it's something that can speed up the process as far as you getting the benefits from the omega 3. Take omega 3. Do some sort of cleanses. Get some sort of cleanses going. You know, the cheapest ones would probably be one of the most beneficial ones. Like there's some oxygen therapy or hydrogen peroxide therapy, where basically you get 35% food grade hydrogen peroxide. Get and you get distilled water, and an eight it an 8 ounce. I think it's no, yeah, it's an 8 ounce cup of water. You start off with 3 drops 3 times a day, and you do it on an empty stomach. Make sure it's an empty stomach. If not, you're not gonna die, but you may throw up because the hydrogen peroxide will, you know, chemically do something with the food, and it'll foam up and it'll make you very nauseous. So do it on an empty stomach. So 3 drops 3 times a day. The second day 4 drops 3 times a day until you get to 25 drops 3 times a day. And you do 25 drops 3 times a day for 2 weeks. And depending on whatever issue you may have, if you have like a certain sort of disease, chronic disease, do 25 drop after the 2 week period. Do 25 drops 2 times a day for as long as you need, to the point that you feel that you're healthy. But really, the ideal way and the way you should do it at least once every 6 months, and that's the 25 drops 3 times a day. Then start going down 24 drops 3 times a day, 23 times a day until you get to 3, and then stop. And do it like once every 6 months. It's greatly beneficial. I started, I mean, I'm not, in all this advice, I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you to do these things. I'm sharing with you the things that I do, and it's up to you to take them, and you'll be 100% responsible for that. We all have to be responsible for our own actions. So don't take advice from me. I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. This is just things that I do that help me focus more, be more energetic, raise my work ethic, my discipline, and so forth. So doing that, but doing if you don't like doing that, you prefer to do something else. Make sure you do like a colon cleanse once a year, a fat cell cleanse. There's not much research on a fat cell cleanse because the only cleanse that I know that gets toxins out of the fat cells is a cleanse that was invented by L. Ron Hubbard from Scientology, and they do it at certain Scientology centers. So basically, what it is you take a certain supplement. I think it's zinc, and then you get into a sauna for a certain amount of hours a day, and you do this for like 7 days. Basically, what that does it's whenever you take any sort of drug or any sort of toxin, that toxin or that drug will stay in your system, and in order to prevent you from dying, what the body does, it puts it inside the fat cell to prevent it from interacting with your body. So what happens is that cleanse, when you're in the sauna, you take that zinc, the fat cell opens up and releases that toxin. And this doesn't release it in a way that it'll hurt your body. It'll release it in a way to be disposed of your body. I've never seen anything bad happen to anybody during this cleanse, but definitely I would recommend supervision, especially if it's your first time. But basically, that's what it does. So, many people who have done drugs, for example, like recreational drugs, many people feel like people who've done cocaine, they may feel certain numbness in their mouth. People who've done things like LSD may have like a flash. If you had shots, it's very weird, but if you had shots, you'll start noticing a certain pinch coming out from wherever you got the shot, and you'll start seeing the little mark on there. Basically, it's a toxin. Everything is coming out. So definitely it's highly recommended. And the most important thing about that is your brain is mostly fat. So imagine the clearness you'll get after doing a cleanse like this. So that's definitely recommended, and doing that like once will definitely help. Do it again in 5 years. Most people just do it once in their life and that's it. But I highly recommend every 5 to 10 years doing that cleanse. So that's definitely recommended. Another thing, went over that. Taking some sort of multi-mineral supplement would be greatly recommended. Just a multi-mineral supplement. The food that we eat today, it's lacking in minerals. Ever since the Dust Bowl, especially in America, our foods don't have enough minerals. So minerals is the only thing that we're dependent on. Our body can even create vitamins, but minerals it cannot create. So that's the thing that we're dependent on. And many of the diseases, it is said that they come from that, a deficiency in minerals. So definitely taking a mineral supplement every day is highly recommended. Taking a supplement, at least for the beginning of your journey, taking some sort of enzyme supplement. Greatly appreciated. We are so stressed out in today's world. We're so stressed out. Our cortisol levels have gone through the roof. So what happens when our stress levels are at that high level? The body does not metabolize the food as it should. So basically, what that means is that when you're eating a piece of chicken, a piece of beef, whatever, or some sort, the proteins that are in that food don't get metabolized as they should, and they don't turn into the brain chemicals that are needed, like serotonin, like dopamine, and so forth. This is why a lot of anxiety and a lot of depression is going on. Because of that, we're not metabolizing our food, we're not digesting our food as we should. So taking an enzyme supplement at least for a couple of months, your beginning route while you're doing all these things, would definitely help and create those good brain chemicals in your brain so you can keep moving. And then you'll get to a point that you're at peace, you don't have as much stress as before. Now your body can start creating those enzymes and start digesting your food as it should. Okay, so taking an enzyme supplement would be greatly recommended. Trying to think of another thing. And these are just like little things that we can do. Very easy. As far as the hydrogen peroxide, you can just go online and punch in 35% food grade hydrogen peroxide. There's many companies out there. Uh, you can buy like a month supply, 90 a whole gallon. I buy it like in gallons. So I do it very often. I do it like once every 3 months. So I do it a lot. But the energy, everything, I feel like all the toxins I feel are being shaved off. So you can buy there. I'm trying to think of another thing. And this, like I mentioned, these are all little things that you can do. Okay, your sugar levels. Yes, that's what I was going to talk about too. Your sugar levels. Make sure that you maintain your sugar levels at a normal pace as much as you can. And the reason for that is when you have high blood sugar or you have this sugar spikes, especially with the food we eat today, um, it's like same portion as before, but more calories. And some of us don't eat a small portion; we eat extra portion. So it's more calories, more sugar, and so forth. So you have these sugar spikes. These sugar spikes really hold you back during that day. Your focus is not where it should be. Your mind is not where it should be, and you develop things like anxiety, stress, depression. That's a big cause of it. So taking things like the PGX that I mentioned, that slowly releases the food to be digested, you know, does not have the sugar spike happen, because it slowly releases it. So especially if you're like a diabetic as well, definitely highly recommend to go ahead and try the supplement. But definitely take your medication, your diabetic medication. Make sure your sugar levels stay. If you're like a normal person, you don't have diabetes, but your sugar spikes still happen, like make sure to go ahead and track those levels and try to keep them as normal as possible, because those will really throw you off for the day. Like you may be doing all these things right, but one simple sugar spike may go ahead and just break you down for that day, and just you're not that focused that day. So definitely getting your blood sugars controlled. If you're diabetic, if you're not getting them like normalized as much as possible, and make sure they're in an even level instead of like this, make sure they're even, be greatly recommended. And that's I think that's pretty much it. Um, you know, as far as the things I would recommend, maybe I will come out with a part two in the future. I'm not 100% sure, but these are the main basic things that I would recommend for you to start doing every day. Not only for your health, your brain focus, but for you to develop that work ethic. As I mentioned, doing something every day and being, and that will develop your work ethic, and your work ethic consists of a lot of this, things like discipline, integrity, things like this. And to close out the video, I wanted to, I was reading this article, and it basically talked about a work ethic, and it breaks work ethic down. So what are the elements of a strong work ethic, or what does work ethic consist of? And it's a great article. So I just want to close out the video with this, with the source here. So one of the elements of work ethic is integrity. So the way you deal with those you work with, your family, and so forth. If you're in a job, your coworkers, your boss, so forth. You know, getting in the habit of telling the truth. I would definitely advise you to listen to Jordan Peterson's thoughts on integrity. You don't know how much we lie to each other and to other people. So becoming a great person really diminishes stress and builds great relationships. So integrity is very important. That get in the habit of telling the truth more, no matter if the consequence may not be to your liking, but having good morals, treating others like you want to be treated, getting in the habit of not being rude.